Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jem Madrone, and today I want to talk about a question that actually came up in the group today. Someone posted about feeling just extremely exhausted today and wondering if anyone else was feeling it. I know a bunch of you responded, and I'm definitely feeling that today. Have been feeling it for a couple of days. And this exhaustion is definitely a symptom of the awakening process. So it's something we've talked about quite often in this group, but I wanted to address it again from the perspective of this unique time in history that we find ourselves, because this exhaustion is definitely a collective experience as well as a personal experience. And it is another signpost that we are in the middle of a global awakening. And so we have, for the past few months, we've been talking about kind of the parallels between a personal awakening and then this global awakening that we find ourselves in, that really began to show itself strongly in the beginning of this whole COVID mess, and it just keeps continuing and new things are being added to it, much like the personal awakening process. And so this exhaustion that many people are experiencing right now is just a heaviness, a lack of energy, a lack of motivation, a lack of um, wanting to do anything, or not even feeling like we're able to do anything that needs to be done. There's also like a heaviness in the brain, kind of a fog, but a different sort of fog where there's just not there's no inspiration happening. There's not a whole lot of sparks happening. And this, of course, is not everyone across the board, but many people are feeling this in different ways. And, if you are going through a lot of personal um, tumultuousness and transformation and dealing with things in your personal life, then this is going to be much stronger. And many people have been experiencing a lot more upheaval in their personal life, difficulties, challenges, breakups, loss of jobs, dealing with family members that are difficult, on and on. There's just seems to be so much happening um, personally, and then of course we can see collectively that that's happening on so many levels that I don't think I need to list all of the different challenges and drama and difficulty that is happening right now. And so as we all go through our personal awakening process, which is most of you, I would think, because you're here in this group, we are in this unique time where we're watching it happen also globally. And so we know that we are supported in the sense that what is happening on the planet, and we can even look at the shifting vibration of the planet and the energy in the universe with the solar flares, with the sun, with the astrology that we're experiencing right now. All of these are basically creating the perfect storm for our transformation, for our change, for our growth. But as we are literally shaken to the core by this shift in vibration, which is causing all of these extreme events happening on this planet, as we are shaken to the core, as the planet is shaken to the core, then we're seeing all of these impurities, all of these toxins, all of these difficulties, all of these challenges, all of these things that we've shoved down for so long coming to the surface still. And so it's a giant purging process. And we've been talking about this for months. And, in the beginning of this COVID thing, it was, I definitely, and I still have a lot of optimism about this because I can see clearly where this is going and why we're experiencing it. But in the beginning, it was like, oh, it's just going to be a month or so. This is perfect. We all need this, reset. And we're really hopeful. We're like, oh, it's just going to, you know, change back. We're going to have this perfect reset, have this clarity. The planet's going to get a break. The fog or the smog is going to clear up, and then we're going to be able to go back. Well, that's obviously a joke. It's not happening. And the same thing happens in our personal process of awakening. We think that we move through some really hard stuff, and then we get a break, then we're going to feel amazing, we're going to feel great, but it often just keeps coming. It keeps coming because there's so much to clear. There's so much to clear globally, there's so much to clear personally, and it gets very, very exhausting. And so often the purpose of this process is to wear us out. It is to exhaust us so that we have to just surrender. We surrender up whatever agenda we have. We surrender up whatever thoughts we have of how this was going to go. We surrender up our control around the situation, and so that we just have to fully surrender to this process of the stripping away of all of the things that we thought we are. And so just like layers of our ego are being stripped away during this process, there's layers of the collective ego that are being stripped away as well. Who we thought we were as a society, as a people, as humans, are being stripped away as we're shown all of these other parts of ourselves, as we're shown that we're not those things either. And so the more that we can surrender to this process, the more that we can release our control or the illusion of control, that we can steer this process in a certain direction for a certain goal. The more that we surrender, the more expansive we'll get. Like, we just don't know what's going to happen, which is why we're afraid of surrender. But when we truly surrender to the process, when we let go of all of our expectations, then it leaves room for so much more. And so right now we're in a time of surrender. And surrender does not mean giving up and giving in. No, not at all. It means acceptance. It means stop resisting things that are happening in your life. Stop pretending like they're not happening. Stop, pushing them away and accepting things exactly how they are. And as we accept what's happening in our life, we do tend to have a little more energy, because it takes a lot of energy to resist and to pretend like something that's not happening that is actually happening. And so some of that, as we surrender, some of that energy returns to us, and then we can use that energy to creatively find our next step, to creatively see, where do I go from here? What do I want to create? What does my next step look like? But when we're resisting, it's so hard to see what that next step actually is, because we still have this agenda in our mind. So right now, be gentle with yourself. Take really good care of yourself. Drink a lot of water, because we didn't even really touch on how these vibrations that are shifting so quickly are really disrupting the energy flow in our body, which is also causing a shit ton of exhaustion. And maybe that's the next video. And so lots of water, lots of exercise, lots of meditation. And meditation is going to be how we learn to surrender. Meditation is how we say, okay, even if it's just for 10 minutes today, I'm going to surrender to everything swirling around me and just be. And so I can't emphasize enough that meditation is really our best friend right now. And the other thing that I keep getting is that we have to slow down so we can listen, because of the agenda that we had in our head. It kept us from really hearing that guidance, that inner guidance of spirit, that inner guidance of your higher self. And so you need to slow down and just listen. So we're laying the agenda on the table, we're surrendering to what is, and we're listening in a whole new way that we've never listened before. So I could talk about this for hours. There's so many different aspects of this. If you have questions or the specific parts of this global awakening process that you want me to talk about, then please leave them in the comments. I'd love to talk more about it. If you are really struggling to surrender, or struggling to find that next step in this process, or struggling really with this process of awakening in general, and you would like some guidance and some help moving through it, then please send me a private message and we can see if the work that I do with my clients would be a good fit for you. So I'm sending you all so much love during these crazy and amazing times, and just please be gentle with yourself, be gentle with each other, and I just love you all, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. Have a great day.